Every day, the world tests your boundaries, your patience, your energy, your capacity to endure. Society often applauds those who sacrifice their limits for others, praising compliance over self-respect. But what if real power lies not in bending to external pressures, but in recognizing the edges of your own strength before anyone else points them out? This is the essence of being like Medusa, not reactive, not defensive, but calmly aware of where your limits lie and fiercely committed to respecting them. Medusa, in the myths, was feared for her gaze, yet her story can teach us far beyond terror. She embodies the archetype of a woman who knew her power and would not tolerate violation. Translating this into modern life, she becomes a symbol for women learning to assert boundaries without guilt. Her stare is a metaphor for awareness, seeing the world clearly, discerning what serves you and what depletes you, and responding with unshakable calm. Recognizing your limits is not weakness. It is a declaration of autonomy. It is a psychological practice of tuning into your emotions, your body, and your mind, noticing when pressure mounts and acting before overwhelm strikes. Stoic philosophy reinforces this by teaching that we cannot control external events, but we can control our responses. By establishing personal boundaries, you maintain serenity while navigating chaos. Many women struggle with the guilt of saying no, the anxiety of disappointing others, or the fear of solitude. Being like Medusa means embracing these challenges with clarity. It means practicing discernment in your daily interactions, understanding that your energy is finite and protecting it as deliberately as a warrior guards her fortress. It is an act of radical self-respect, a psychological armor forged through reflection and discipline. Imagine moving through life fully aware of your limits, standing firm when necessary, retreating when required, and refusing to apologize for protecting your inner peace. This is not isolation, it is mastery. It is the art of living like Medusa, powerful, intentional, and emotionally sovereign. By the end of this journey, you will not only recognize your limits, you will honor them. And through that, cultivate strength the world cannot diminish. Every woman deserves to move through life with awareness, courage, and self-respect. Yet too often, we lose ourselves trying to meet external expectations, sacrificing our well-being for others. In this journey, learning to recognize and respect your own limits is not just a skill, it is a form of empowerment. Just as Medusa embodied awareness and unshakable calm in the face of threat, modern women can adopt her archetype to navigate stress, social pressure, and emotional overwhelm with grace and authority. This is where practical psychology and Stoic philosophy intersect. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control the world around us, but we can control our responses. By cultivating clear boundaries, we actively choose how to engage, conserve energy, and protect mental peace. Psychology reinforces this by showing that women who assert their limits experience less anxiety, higher emotional resilience, and a stronger sense of autonomy. Recognizing your limits is not selfish. It is an act of intelligence and self-care. Throughout this series, we will explore exercises, reflections, and real-life applications that guide you in establishing and honoring your boundaries. You will learn to identify emotional triggers, communicate assertively, and cultivate the inner strength necessary to maintain your peace in challenging situations. These practices are designed not for perfection, but for conscious, deliberate living. If you find value in this content, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below. Share with us the city and country where you are watching from. Your presence matters and helps us build a community of women committed to self-mastery. By engaging, you not only support this work, but also affirm your commitment to living with clarity, courage, and the Medusa mindset. Prepare to step into your power. It begins with awareness, continues with action, and flourishes when you honor your limits every single day. The first step to being like Medusa is awareness. Before you can defend your boundaries, you must recognize them. Many women move through life unconsciously, responding to external demands without evaluating their own capacity. Start by observing yourself. Notice when tension rises, when your energy drains faster than usual, and when emotional discomfort surfaces. These signals are the first indicators that your limits are being tested. Journaling can be a powerful tool in this process. Each day, take 10 minutes to record situations where you felt pressured, anxious, or emotionally exhausted. Write down how your body felt, what thoughts arose, and whether you gave in or asserted yourself. Over time, patterns will emerge, revealing areas where your boundaries are strong and areas where they need reinforcement. Medusa's archetype teaches us that boundaries are not passive, they are protective and proactive. Recognizing your limits is not merely identifying discomfort. It is deciding where you will stand and where you will retreat. This is psychological empowerment, the conscious acknowledgement of your capacity and the deliberate choice to act within it. Stoicism offers a guiding principle here. Focus on what you can control and release what you cannot. Your energy, your attention, your time, these are yours to govern. External expectations, criticism, or societal pressure are not within your control. By recognizing this, you conserve mental energy and cultivate resilience. A practical exercise is the pause before response. When confronted with a request or demand, pause for a moment to assess your capacity. Ask yourself, do I have the energy, time, or emotional bandwidth for this? If the answer is no, practice saying, I cannot commit to this right now. Assertiveness is a skill, not a confrontation. Another strategy is mapping your personal boundaries. Create categories: emotional, social, physical, and professional, and note where your limits lie. For example, you might recognize that after 9 p.m. you need solitude or that certain conversations drain you emotionally. Knowing these boundaries clearly allows you to enforce them without guilt. Medusa's gaze symbolizes clarity. Apply this clarity internally by questioning obligations, which are necessary, which are draining, and which serve someone else's agenda at the expense of your well-being. Recognizing this distinction is empowering and prevents unconscious compliance. Reflection and self-checks are vital. At the end of each day, review moments where you respected or ignored your boundaries. Celebrate successes, analyze missteps, and plan adjustments. This creates a feedback loop for emotional mastery, similar to Medusa's unwavering focus in mythological depictions. Incorporating mindful practices reinforces your limits. Breathing exercises, meditation, or short moments of stillness during the day remind you of your center and help you respond intentionally rather than reactively. This builds the internal armor necessary for consistent boundary enforcement. By practicing these exercises daily, you begin to embody Medusa's strength: calm, unshakable, and self-aware. Recognizing your limits is not a one-time event, it is a continuous, deliberate process. Each moment of self-respect fortifies your autonomy, preparing you to engage with the world from a place of clarity, confidence, and inner power. The second step in embodying Medusa is learning to stand firm without apology. Once you recognize your limits, asserting them becomes essential. Many women hesitate, fearing judgment, disappointment, or conflict. But boundaries are not negotiable for the sake of others' comfort. They are essential for your emotional well-being. Begin by identifying situations where you frequently compromise your needs. Is it at work, in friendships, or in family dynamics? Awareness of these patterns allows you to pinpoint where firmness is most needed. Medusa teaches that strength often lies in visible, uncompromising clarity, being seen, respected, and unyielding. A practical exercise is role-playing. With a trusted friend or journal, simulate scenarios where you need to assert a boundary. Practice stating your limit clearly and calmly. I cannot take this on right now, or I need space to recharge. Repetition strengthens your confidence, making real-life application more natural. Emotional self-regulation is critical. Standing firm is not about aggression, it is about clarity and composure. Notice your emotional responses when asserting a boundary. If fear or guilt arises, pause and remind yourself that protecting your energy is a rational, justified act, not a betrayal of kindness. Stoicism emphasizes distinguishing between what is within your control and what is not. You cannot control how others react to your boundaries, only how you enforce them. Medusa's archetype embodies this principle. She does not seek approval but maintains her integrity despite external pressures. Visual cues can reinforce your boundaries. Designate physical or temporal spaces for solitude or reflection. A closed door, a scheduled break, or a quiet corner signals to yourself and others that your limits are respected. Small gestures create habitual reinforcement of your autonomy. Journaling remains a powerful tool. Reflect each evening on moments you upheld your boundaries and instances where you wavered. Celebrate your successes and analyze the triggers that challenged you. This creates awareness and a proactive approach to boundary maintenance. Meditation and mindful breathing support firmness. When anxiety or guilt arises, pause, inhale, and center yourself. Visualize a protective boundary around your energy, like Medusa's gaze guarding her space. This practice strengthens internal resolve, reducing reactive behavior. Surround yourself with reinforcement. Seek allies who respect your limits and provide encouragement. Distance from chronic boundary violators may be necessary. Medusa teaches that protection sometimes requires selective association, maintaining mental peace over social appeasement. Ultimately, standing firm without apology cultivates a profound sense of self-trust. Each moment you assert your limits reinforces your autonomy, emotional resilience, and inner power. By practicing these strategies daily, you begin to inhabit the Medusa archetype fully, self-aware, composed and unwavering in the preservation of your energy and well-being. The third step in being like Medusa is understanding the strength of emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries define how much of others' emotions you absorb and how you respond to emotional demands. Women, in particular, are often conditioned to carry the weight of others' feelings, leaving their own energy depleted. Recognizing these boundaries is crucial for long-term resilience. Begin by observing your emotional responses. Are you frequently anxious, drained, or resentful after interactions? These are signs that your emotional limits are being tested or crossed. Medusa's archetype reminds us that emotional sovereignty is a form of power, the ability to remain unshaken despite external pressures. A practical exercise is labeling your feelings in real time. When someone's words or actions provoke discomfort, pause and mentally state, "This is their emotion, not mine." By separating your experience from theirs, you prevent unnecessary internalization and preserve your energy. Journaling continues to be an effective tool. Write down emotionally taxing situations and how you responded. Evaluate whether your reactions were automatic or deliberate, and consider alternative ways you can maintain composure while honoring your boundaries. This reflective practice enhances self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Stoic philosophy reinforces this approach. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we should not be disturbed by events themselves, but by our judgments of them. Applying this, when confronted with someone's emotional intensity, recognize what is within your control, your response, and release what is not. This distinction is central to emotional boundaries. Visualization exercises are also helpful. Imagine a protective barrier around your emotional space, absorbing what serves you and deflecting what does not. Medusa's gaze serves as a metaphor for clarity and defense, allowing you to process interactions without internalizing chaos. Assertive communication is key. Clearly expressing your emotional limits prevents confusion and resentment. Phrases like, "I need time to process my feelings before discussing this," or "I cannot engage in this conversation right now," communicate your boundaries respectfully yet firmly. Reflection at the end of the day reinforces learning. Ask yourself, when did I maintain my emotional boundaries successfully? When did I let others' emotions overwhelm me? What strategies help me remain centered? This iterative process cultivates mastery over time. Mindful breathing and short pauses during emotionally charged moments strengthen your capacity to respond intentionally. Each pause reinforces your inner authority, reducing impulsive reactions and fostering calm assertiveness, core aspects of the Medusa archetype. By practicing emotional boundary awareness daily, you develop self-trust, mental resilience, and the ability to engage with the world from a place of strength rather than reactivity. Being like Medusa means cultivating emotional sovereignty. Understanding that protecting your inner world is not selfish, it is essential for sustainable power, clarity, and peace. The fourth step in embodying Medusa is learning to guard your energy and peace deliberately. Energy is finite, and every interaction, obligation, or decision draws from it. Women often overextend themselves to meet societal or relational expectations, leaving little for their own growth and well-being. Guarding your energy is not optional, it is essential for emotional and psychological sustainability. Begin by conducting an energy audit. At the end of each day, reflect on interactions and activities, which moments left you drained, which left you neutral, and which energized you. This awareness reveals where your energy boundaries are strong and where they require reinforcement. A practical exercise is scheduling deliberate rest periods. Medusa's archetype reminds us that retreat is not weakness, it is strategic. Designate times during your day for solitude, reflection, or low-stimulation activities. Honor these moments as inviolable. They are your sanctuary for replenishing energy. Learning to say no is integral. Practice short, firm, and polite responses to requests that exceed your capacity. For example, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I cannot commit to this right now." This is not confrontation, it is protection of your inner equilibrium. Stoic philosophy supports this approach by emphasizing the control of internal states. You cannot prevent external demands, but you can choose how to engage with them. When faced with energy-draining obligations, remind yourself that your response is within your control, and prioritize actions that align with your values and limits. Boundaries should also extend to social media and digital consumption. Constant connectivity and information overload can erode mental energy. Establish limits for screen time, notifications, and exposure to emotionally taxing content. Medusa's gaze serves as a metaphor for discernment, choosing what to engage with and what to deflect. Mindful breathing and grounding techniques enhance energy management. When feeling drained, take deep breaths, visualize protective barriers, and consciously direct attention to replenishment. These moments of centering prevent impulsive reactions and help maintain calmness under pressure. Reflection exercises reinforce learning. At the end of each week, ask yourself, did I honor my energy boundaries? Where did I overextend and why? What adjustments can I make moving forward? Tracking these patterns strengthens self-discipline and emotional resilience. Surround yourself with supportive environments. Medusa's myth reminds us that protection often requires selectivity in associations. Engage with individuals who respect your limits and minimize exposure to chronic boundary violators. This strengthens your sense of autonomy and reduces unnecessary stress. By guarding your energy consciously, you cultivate emotional and psychological sovereignty. Being like Medusa is not about isolation, it is about intentional engagement with the world, maintaining calm and clarity while protecting your inner resources. Each deliberate choice to honor your limits reinforces strength, presence, and self-respect. The fifth step in embodying Medusa is learning that saying no is an act of power. Women are often conditioned to prioritize others' comfort above their own, but asserting a limit is not selfish. It is an essential act of self-respect and emotional survival. Recognizing this shifts perspective from guilt to empowerment. Begin by identifying areas where saying yes has repeatedly overextended you. These might include work demands, social obligations, or emotional labor in relationships. Awareness of patterns allows you to target where your assertiveness is most needed. A practical exercise is practicing concise, clear refusals. Statements such as, "I cannot take this on right now," or "I need to prioritize my own well-being," communicate boundaries without apology. Repetition builds confidence and reduces emotional resistance associated with refusal. Medusa's archetype exemplifies firmness paired with clarity. When you say no, you do not justify excessively. You express your limits calmly and confidently. This is not confrontation, it is the cultivation of authority over your own life and energy. Stoic philosophy reinforces this concept by teaching that external approval is beyond our control. You cannot ensure that others will understand or accept your boundaries, but you can ensure that you act in alignment with your values. This internal focus nurtures self-trust and resilience. Reflection is essential. At the end of each day, review instances where you upheld or avoided saying no. Analyze emotional triggers and patterns of avoidance. Understanding these dynamics helps you act with intention rather than reaction in future situations. Mindful pauses strengthen refusal skills. Before responding to requests or demands, take a moment to breathe and assess your capacity. Ask yourself, does this align with my priorities and limits? This pause ensures deliberate action, avoiding automatic compliance. Visualization exercises enhance boundary enforcement. Imagine an invisible shield surrounding your energy, deflecting obligations that do not serve your well-being. Medusa's gaze symbolizes discernment and protection, allowing you to act decisively without unnecessary conflict. Surrounding yourself with reinforcement is critical. Seek allies who respect your boundaries and reinforce your ability to say no. Conversely, reduce exposure to individuals who routinely dismiss your limits. Environment plays a significant role in sustaining psychological resilience. By embracing saying no as a form of power, you cultivate autonomy, clarity, and emotional sovereignty. Each refusal becomes an act of self-respect, a reinforcement of your energy, and a testament to your commitment to intentional living. Being like Medusa is not about fear or aggression, it is about firm, calm, and conscious protection of your inner world. The sixth step in embodying Medusa is reflecting, accepting, and protecting yourself. Recognition of limits is only the beginning. It must be paired with acceptance. Many women resist their boundaries, perceiving them as weaknesses or constraints. True empowerment begins with acknowledging your limits without judgment. Start by observing your reactions to stress or pressure. Do you feel guilt or shame when prioritizing your needs? Acceptance involves understanding that your limits are valid and that protecting them is an act of self-preservation, not selfishness. A practical exercise is the daily reflection journal. Each evening, note situations where you honored your limits, instances of compromise, and the emotional impact. Reflecting consistently reinforces awareness and encourages self-compassion rather than self-criticism. Medusa's archetype illustrates strength through clarity and acceptance. She does not apologize for her nature, she owns it. Similarly, acknowledging your limits without guilt or justification establishes inner authority. creating a foundation for emotional resilience. Stoic philosophy teaches that we cannot control all external circumstances, but can control our perception and response. Accepting your limits means recognizing that your energy, time, and emotional bandwidth are yours to govern. This clarity allows deliberate engagement with the world rather than reactive compliance. Visualization can enhance acceptance. Imagine a protective circle around your energy, which you honor and respect. Inside this circle, your needs are valid, your emotions are acknowledged, and your choices are sovereign. Medusa's gaze symbolizes this unwavering boundary, clear, firm, and non-negotiable. Assertive communication is crucial in this process. Clearly and calmly expressing your boundaries, such as, "I need time to recharge," or "I cannot take on this responsibility," enforces acceptance both internally and externally. Practice ensures that your limits are understood without apology. Mindfulness exercises, such as deep breathing or short meditation, reinforce self-protection. When faced with pressure, pause to center yourself and recall your boundaries. This strengthens emotional autonomy, reducing susceptibility to manipulation or overcommitment. Surround yourself with supportive environments. Medusa teaches the power of selectivity. Engage with people who honor your limits and create space for growth. Minimize exposure to those who consistently violate your boundaries, as their presence undermines your emotional sovereignty. By reflecting, accepting, and actively protecting yourself, you cultivate a profound sense of inner strength. Each conscious decision to honor your limits reinforces self-trust, resilience, and clarity. Being like Medusa is about embracing your nature fully, acting with deliberate intention, and safeguarding your energy with unwavering resolve. The seventh step in being like Medusa is choosing solitude to strengthen your core. Solitude is often misunderstood as loneliness, but in reality, it is a deliberate space to reconnect with yourself. Women frequently overcommit to external demands, losing touch with their inner voice. Begin by scheduling small moments of intentional solitude each day. This could be a quiet morning, a walk without distractions, or a mindful pause between tasks. These moments reinforce autonomy and inner clarity. Journaling during solitude deepens self-awareness. Reflect on emotions, boundaries, and personal priorities. Solitude provides the space to assess which relationships, obligations, and habits serve your well-being and which drain it. Medusa's archetype embodies strategic withdrawal. She does not engage with unnecessary chaos. Similarly, choosing solitude allows you to recharge, evaluate situations with calm clarity, and return to interactions with intentionality. Stoic philosophy emphasizes self-sufficiency. By being comfortable alone, you strengthen resilience against external pressures and emotional volatility. Solitude becomes a tool for cultivating inner peace rather than a symptom of isolation. Visualization exercises can enhance the experience. Imagine a protective sanctuary surrounding you, shielding your energy from unnecessary intrusion. This practice reinforces emotional autonomy and decision-making clarity. Assertive reflection during solitude reinforces boundaries. Ask, which situations require my engagement? Which should I avoid to preserve my energy? This conscious assessment strengthens your ability to act deliberately. Mindful breathing and meditation in solitude consolidate self-control. Pausing to center yourself before responding to external stimuli reduces reactive behavior and supports long-term emotional stability. Surround yourself selectively. Even in solitude, choose environments and interactions that honor your space. Medusa teaches that protection often requires selectivity. Your energy is sacred. By embracing solitude intentionally, you strengthen your core, refine boundaries, and cultivate emotional resilience. Being like Medusa means understanding that solitude is not avoidance, it is empowerment, providing clarity and uncheckable inner strength. The eighth step in embodying Medusa is transforming pressure into calm assertion. Life often imposes expectations that threaten your boundaries, but your response determines your emotional sovereignty. Begin by observing situations where pressure arises. Recognize physical tension, racing thoughts, or emotional discomfort. Awareness is the first step in transforming stress into deliberate action. Journaling exercises allow analysis of triggers. Record moments of pressure and reflect on how you could respond assertively while maintaining calm. This creates a roadmap for proactive boundary management. Medusa's archetype demonstrates unshakable composure. Facing potential threats with clarity and calm prevents impulsive reactions, reinforcing internal authority. Stoic philosophy teaches focusing on what you can control. While external pressure is inevitable, your responses are fully within your control. This distinction is key to emotional resilience. Practical exercises include mindful pauses and deep breathing during high-pressure situations. This restores balance and enables measured, intentional responses. Visualization of protective boundaries reinforces calm. Imagine a shield that absorbs stress without internalizing it, allowing you to maintain emotional equilibrium. Assertive communication ensures boundaries are respected under pressure. Calmly expressing limits such as declining additional tasks prevents overextension. Reflection at the end of each day reinforces learning. Celebrate moments of calm assertion and analyze challenges for future improvement. Transforming pressure into calm assertion develops confidence, autonomy, and clarity. Being like Medusa means navigating demands with unwavering composure, protecting your energy while engaging intentionally with the world. The ninth step is knowing when to step back as courage. Many women equate withdrawal with weakness, yet strategic retreat is a profound act of strength. Begin by identifying situations that consistently drain your energy or compromise your values. Recognize when engagement is counterproductive. Journaling helps document patterns and emotional impact, providing clarity on when stepping back is necessary. Medusa's myth symbolizes decisive retreat in the face of threat. Applying this archetype, you learn to disengage without guilt or defensiveness. Stoicism reinforces the value of discernment. You cannot control all outcomes. Recognizing when to step back preserves peace and autonomy. Practical exercises include creating exit strategies for social or professional situations that compromise your energy or integrity. Mindful breathing before stepping back consolidates calm and ensures intentional action rather than reactive withdrawal. Assertive communication maintains respect and clarity. Phrases like, "I need to step back to protect my focus," signal boundaries without confrontation. Surround yourself selectively to reinforce these choices. Limiting exposure to draining environments strengthens long-term resilience. Knowing when to step back cultivates courage, autonomy, and self-respect. Being like Medusa involves recognizing that retreat is a strategic tool for preserving inner strength. The 10th step is autonomy is your ultimate shield. Complete ownership of your boundaries, decisions, and energy forms the foundation of resilience. Begin by assessing areas where external influence has overridden your limits. Awareness enables reclamation of authority. Journaling exercises strengthen self-trust. Document choices aligned with your limits and reflect on their outcomes. Medusa embodies self-sovereignty. Her power lies in knowing herself and acting without seeking approval, a model for modern women cultivating autonomy. Stoicism teaches that freedom comes from self-mastery. By controlling responses and honoring limits, you shield yourself from unnecessary stress and influence. Visualization of a protective sphere reinforces psychological autonomy, helping you navigate demands without internalizing pressure. Assertive communication consistently maintains boundaries. Clear, calm statements safeguard your energy and convey self-respect. Reflection at the end of each week consolidates autonomy. Celebrate alignment with your limits and plan adjustments where necessary. Mindful practices, such as meditation and deep breathing, reinforce self-governance and inner clarity. Autonomy as a shield ensures long-term emotional sovereignty. Being like Medusa means acting with deliberate intention, maintaining peace, and protecting your energy from external erosion. Recognizing and respecting your limits is the ultimate act of empowerment. Through deliberate awareness, assertive communication, and strategic engagement, women cultivate autonomy and emotional resilience. Like Medusa, your strength lies not in aggression but in clarity, composure, and unwavering commitment to yourself. The practices outlined, from journaling and mindful pauses to reflection and visualization, are tools for cultivating inner sovereignty. Each deliberate choice to honor your boundaries reinforces self-trust and mental fortitude. Emotional, social, and physical limits become sources of power rather than constraints. Embodying the Medusa archetype is a lifelong journey. It requires conscious attention, daily practice, and courage to act in alignment with your true needs. By choosing clarity over compliance, solitude over overstimulation, and autonomy over external approval, you protect your inner world and navigate life with strength, calm, and unshakable self-respect.